watching on TV. Your dad was winning, right? And I don't know if it was Sneva or somebody was right behind him. And there was still the yellow flag. And you jumped the start coming out of four.
Yep.
You got between him and his dad.
Yep.
And the flagman was giving you hell. And you didn't back off.
That's right.
You stayed there to protect your dad.
Yeah. And then he was fast all day long. And I figured that I could hold up Tom and Dad would check out in just a few laps, and that would give him the buffer. Because I knew I couldn't hold Tom off for very long, but I could give him grief for a little while. And then my dad didn't go anywhere. My dad didn't.
He didn't have anything left.
He had he had a bad set of tires on or something. He wasn't near as fast as he was earlier in the race. And it had to do with the car handling the bad set of tires. And so he didn't go anywhere, and then I went, oh no, what do I do now?
You stuck in there, buddy.
So as best I could.
And then Sneva got you.
After we caught some traffic.
Yeah.
And then Sneva, once the traffic was introduced to the whole round, and Sneva got me, and then he got Dad right away.
You know, that whole thing.
And then I passed Dad. Once Sneva got out of there, and Dad was, like I said, he was running so slow, I had to go by him.
You know, that moment, you know, I think you're what, 60?
Right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, 60. Yeah.
And I'm 74 today, so
Happy birthday.
Thank you. That's why it's so special.
Okay.
But that moment, we saw the transition of young coming into the sport that were bold and they were non-conforming, and you just, I was impressed. I was impressed, you know. And,
I just wanted my dad to win.
I know you did. You know, driving sprint cars all my life, you don't get to think. You're just pedal to the floor and steering hard, trying to get around. In this stuff, you have time to think. And I just can't imagine what that's like. So I want to know what you were thinking when you were back there. Okay, I'm going to jump the start to help Dad. What the hell's in that guy's brain? What was going on? What were you thinking? I have to do this.
Yeah, no, I was anticipating Dad, so I was watching my dad, and when he took off, I took off because I wanted to get between them.
Yep.
And again, Dad, I jumped him. I ended up being in the right gear or whatever that made me, I had to go by him. And so I went by him, entering 4, so we come off of turn 4, and I'm seeing yellow lights. Okay, the yellow was still on, and I'm leading the field, and then as we're getting down, then the lights go green, and so then I soft pedal the car so that Dad can get by me. I let him by me on the front straightaway, and then now that's where I wanted to be. And so now I was going, go, and he didn't go.
Back in those days, were you flat-footing it and just working the brake?
No.
You did lift.
You did lift, but not the brake.
Never used the brake. Never dragged the brake.
Not really. You did a little bit, but only because of traffic or something.
So you'd go down straight and just come up to half throttle or so?
Yeah.
Or just work it to the nose was moving.
And then you back in it again.
Yeah. I'm learning so much.
During qualifying in that day, qualifying with new tires and low fuel, all 4 laps are wide open.
No kidding.
All 4 laps. You've got to hold it wide open to do all 4 laps.
All right. Because I know the first time I held it wide open on a quarter-mile dirt track, you know, I said to myself, that wasn't so bad. I can do this. That was a long time ago. The first time you did that, what were you thinking?
I was qualifying.
You just didn't think?
The first time I did it was during qualifying in '83.
Wow. Who was the car owner then?
And it actually, Rick Gallus.
Okay.
And it was actually, once I did it flat, went, oh, that's not bad.
I know. First time you do it.
What was I so afraid of?
Yeah. And you know, my son who's here, I said, look, someday you're going to flat foot it, the track will be right, and you're going to say, that wasn't so bad.
Right.
I said, so what? You know what?
Same thing.
You confirm just, once you do it, then you got it. But
Yeah.
you give me goosebumps.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I met your uncle. Oh, he was up at the Chili Bowl. He was in a scooter. And I'd never met him, but I walked over to him because he was watching the big screen. And I introduced myself to him. I said, I got one question. He goes, what's that? I said, what the hell is it like to drive a Novi wide open? And you know what his answer was? He said, that was the easiest race car I ever drove.
Yeah, he didn't go wide open through the corners.
No, that car lay rubber for all the way down the straightaway, I think.
Yeah.
Well, the only other famous time in racing I had was one night I was in my super modified in Cowtown, Kennedale, Texas. And we were getting ready to go out for a heat race. And I didn't qualify while I was about in the middle of the 12-pack heat race. And a guy came over who I know. He says, you know who's in front of you? Oh, I said, it looks like an old modified though. He goes, it's Jimmy McElwee.
All right.
No shit. I said, no. So
bad boy.
So he lapped the field in that old car. And when the night was over, I went down and talked to him. And he was just like you, very gracious man, nice guy. Built some held-lacious street cars in a little garage.
And then we'll just do some laps. I'll just be watching them. I don't really want to hold them up, but I want to contain them at the same time.
I understand.
So I'll just be keeping an eye on them.
So you're going to be in the mirror a lot.
Yes. Yeah. Should be okay.
Yeah. You can handle it.
Yeah, that's what Dale Sr. taught me in Daytona. I ran one Daytona 500, 93. And 10 to go, I'm running 5th. I got Dale Sr. right behind me. I'm following the draft, okay, and getting into 3, the draft goes down low, and Dale, when we went down low, Dale went up like this and got right in my corner panel, and that was as far as he got. And so when we came off of turn 4, he was in my blind spot, and I didn't see him. And so what I learned was as we're turning into the corners, I need to have the right eye in the mirror and the left eye on the field in front of me.
Holy shit.
That's what I learned. That's what I learned.
That's what you learned.
So because I could have stopped him by just moving up. When they all went down and I saw him going that way,
Yeah.
I could have moved up in front of him.
You're sharing stuff with me that nobody ever gets to know.
And I didn't realize that until, because I just, I went, he got up next to me and then he stayed there. Where in Indy cars, if you're not far enough alongside the guy when you're exiting the corner, then it's this guy's responsibility to get out of it.
Get out of the way.
Okay, in closed wheel racing, which is NASCAR, rubbing is racing.
I know.
Okay.
I've never raced a car with fenders.
And so I thought, I even told the TV, Senior took me out. I don't know what happened. Senior took me out. So I was in my motorhome after the race, and this is an hour after the race. Richard Petty comes knocking on my door, and he comes in and he goes, how was it? How was your first 500 and all that? And I went, it was okay, except for the end there when Senior got me. He goes, no, he goes, Al, you need to learn how to check up. And I looked at him and I go, what do you mean check up? And he goes, when they went down low, and then when they're coming off the corner, the draft, if somebody's if somebody's coming in your blind spot and you don't know they're there, then when the draft comes off of the corner, you need to feel if there's someone there before you go up against the wall.
Really?
And I go, you mean that was my fault? And he goes, yeah.
No shit.
Richard Petty told me. I went, damn. And so then I went, okay, I gotta learn how to check out. I gotta learn how to check out.
I think this is what they call a flat plane engine in these cars too, isn't it? You know?
I have no clue what's in these things.
You know, it's a 180 degree crank, yet the pistons only fire every 180 degrees.
I have no idea.
That's why it has such a unique sound.
Yep.
I'm just doing some. I'm not that smart. I'm not an engine builder. I can build a small block Chevy, but I ain't no engine.
Right. I've never been interested in sports cars because none of these compare to that.
I can't imagine what it's like to drive that.
And so that's exciting. A sports car, I've never owned one. I've had Suburbans most of my life, and then luxury cars. Like if I could have a car that I sit in and tell it to take me home,
that'd be fine.
That'd be great. Have like a couch, like soft seats, and no noise. It'd be electric. You know, just the wind, and not much of that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Unless I roll the windows down. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, like that, unless you've sat in a sprint car, a 410, and stomped on it, you don't know what it's like.
Right. Right.
There ain't nothing like it.
So these cars, this would just get me in trouble on the public highway. That's all it would do. Because I'd have to open it up.
Oh, I have a Shelby, and that's
it. Just gets you in trouble.
One day I was coming back from the plant. I drove to the plant that day, and I pull out on the 4-lane, coming back, going to take it back to the shop, and I'm going, nobody's around. I just pedal it down. Well, I got up to about 130, 40, I don't know. It wasn't wide. It was still going.
Right.
And I come up over the rise, and who's coming the other way? Mississippi Highway Patrol.
No!
I know a lot of them, so, you know, I just drove it on back to the shop, and pretty soon here he comes in the shop, and it's the state trooper I know, and he looks at me and goes, you have any idea how fast you were going, Hanna? I said, I was going fast. He goes, I got you at 143.
Oh my God.
He says, come on, take me for a ride.
Take me for a ride. I want to go.
He said, take me for a ride. So I can do that now. All these people are sitting here, they're all looking at you. You understand?
No, they're looking at the car.
Is that it?
And you.
They're going, who in the hell is that guy with Al? How'd he get so lucky? Of all the race cars you drove, what was the most fun?
Okay.
All the race cars you've driven, what's the most fun?
The Indy car.
Indy car?
By far.
It's a really cool 3-day event and a chance to be part of class.
Hey, man. Hey. Sorry if I say hi to people.
Yeah, of course it is. You're supposed to say hi to people.
Okay. So much narrower.
Yeah, then it looks on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when I first got here, and looked at it as an adult, as when I was coming back here to race. Oh man, this place is skinny.
That
Yeah.
looks like you're threading the needle right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Coming down these straightaways, one thing I realized when during the actual race, that when I come off of 4 and I look way down, and as I'm coming down the straightaway, you can see the sponsor on the side of the cars that are they're making a left. There's a left, a real left at the end of this straightaway. Yeah.
And you held it flat out.
Oh yeah. Well, once you got into the corner, it wasn't that bad of a left.
Yeah.
But
It's kind of like in the
it sure
sprint car.
does look like that. Yeah.
Once the nose enters, you're all right.
Yes.
You're on the right rear.
Yes. Correct.
I got a favor to ask.
Yes.
Can I call you my friend?
Absolutely.
Friend.
Yes, sir.
Is that the car you bumped tires with?
It could be. I don't know for sure. No. No.
It wasn't. I know you bumped tires with Mo in one
I
race.
think that's 88.
Okay.
No, because that looks like a March to me.
Actually, you're right. That is a March.
Yeah, so 89 he was in a Penske.
Yeah.
And 88 he was in a Penske too. No, just 89.
Just 89.
Going to fuel safe mode a lot early in the runs nowadays as well.
Is that Chevy powered?
I don't think so. I think it's a Cosworth.
Cosworth?
Patrick Racing. Yeah, that's a March. 88. 88 March.
I can't imagine after we've been out there and we've gone 100 plus or so, and I can't imagine going twice that fast, more than twice that fast, and turning in. I can't imagine what that's like.
The car lets you do it. You know, this thing, if we brought it up entering the corner, if we brought it up to 125, 130, it'd start not liking it. Just from the way I feel right now, it'd start getting a little light at the 130. So you can imagine a NASCAR, when they come run here, they run 180, okay, and then down the straightaways they're running 180, 190 down the straightaways, but their lap average is 68 to 70.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means if they're doing the 190 down the straightaway, then they're doing 140 in the corners.
The car's just
To come
over.
up with that average.
Yeah. So the
You
car.
need the wings. You need the wings, the downforce.
So
That
when you're,
this doesn't have.
if the car, so you're telling me the faster you go in an Indy car, the better it handles?
The more grip it'll have.
Yeah.
Not handling, they gotta be balanced. You know, the front's gotta turn and the rear has to stay under you.
Yeah.
But the faster you go, it multiplies itself. Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of the same
So
thing.
at 200 miles an hour, not that car, but that car over there,
Yeah.
at 200 miles an hour, it's producing 4 to 4,500 pounds of downforce.
No shit.
The car itself, sitting there right now,
Yeah.
weighs 1,500 pounds.
Holy cow.
Okay, so it's more than doubling its weight.
So it's completely down on the suspension.
It's being
pushed down.
Absolutely.
So when they set those cars up, the suspension sprung down. That's how they look.
At speed.
At speed.
At speed, they're being forced into the pavement. Yeah.
And you can feel that.
Yeah. Now today's Indy car weighs the same, 1,500 pounds, but at 220, 220, they're producing 5,500 to 6,000 pounds of downforce. Okay, so you could take them up, flip them upside down, and they'd stick to the ceiling.
Stick to the ceiling.
Easily.
So the whole body is a wing on those cars then.
Pardon?
The whole body on an Indy car is the wing. Is a wing.
Yes.
Creates all the downforce.
Creates all the downforce. And today's Indy car,
we're not ready. We still have
they do it so much more efficient. When I say efficient, it's L over D.
Yes.
So it's lift over drag. And so this is just an opposite lift.
5 minutes.
Well, I was
one would ever let me.
Yeah. Well, I was watching on steering wheel